Hello friends, I'm still wearing my fleecy fur-lined hoodie because it's 0 degrees out here. Still pretty chilly. And the second day of the new year, 2026. And I thought I would take us around the studio. We were very fortunate to buy this house a few years ago. And then a couple of years ago I finally decided to build, or at least get my friend Jim to help me build this amazing studio, which is here in the garden under this beautiful twisted willow, which has not got any leaves on it at the moment because it's winter time. And this is Higher Voltage Studios, where I've been recording Rosendale Band. And I thought I'd just sort of talk a bit about the geeky stuff that's involved with this. And that is things like the walls, thicknesses and all that, because when you're recording a live song or having a live rehearsal, which we were able to do in this studio, thankfully, you can lose a lot of sound coming out of the building. And when we're in an urban area like this, look, you've got flats right next door, and then there's houses over there. The sound can leak out of windows, especially these big ones here. These beautiful doors that I got put in from A1 Windows in South London. Of course, they're called A1. All window companies are called A1. There's the rather tatty broom and dustpan and brush, because we've got so many trees up here that are dropping leaves and all sorts of stuff that come down off the trees. So it's a constant thing of sweeping up, keeping it a bit tidy, otherwise we'll just tread everything into the studio. I will probably try and knit together a few of the still photos that I took from the build, because that shows some of the building process. But the studio is built of very heavy, or the heaviest spec of concrete blocks, and that is sitting on a concrete raft below here, and we actually had to drop the whole construction down a few feet to get a bit of ceiling height. The walls are then covered in a render. This is zombie grey, this colour. And then, so we dropped it because in London you have like restrictions on height if you're doing this sort of a build that's not like a residential. You're not living in it, and it's put under permitted development, but it's only allowed to be 2.5 meters high. So to get a bit of extra height, we actually excavated down. And then, as I said earlier, the whole thing is on a concrete raft that was suggested by James Ivey of the Studio Rats in one of his videos. But we put it on the concrete raft because we've got all these trees here, and we didn't want to disrupt all the trees too much, and we wanted to keep them so the tree roots can grow underneath that concrete raft and not disturb the foundations of the build. So that is basically why we did that. It was a pretty big undertaking, but it means that hopefully we won't get any problems with subsidence or tree root damage from the roots hitting any kind of foundations, because they should be able to grow underneath the raft. So when you're doing recording and you're blasting out a heavy drum kit, what you don't want is leakage of sound. So these windows are actually sealed, you can't open these ones. I've got a little extractor vent there for the toilet that's inside. But you'd be surprised about how much sound comes out of those things. So I tried to keep everything as shut as possible. So we've got a couple of windows on the back here, and I keep them shut, and they have these sort of funny little vents here. And again, I try and keep those closed whilst we're recording or making a lot of noise. Otherwise, you'd be surprised how much sound can fly out of them. So when we're actually using the studio, yeah, we keep everything shut, obviously. And then it doesn't actually seem to bother the neighbours too much, which is pretty amazing, because I wasn't sure if it would really work, but it seems to. So that is the first instalment of the studio. This is Higher Voltage Studios, and I love it. You know, very fortunate to have it. And you can see how much we dropped it down, because that's the 2 steps down that we went. And all this had to be built as well. I mean, blimey, there's so much excavation, it's crazy. We've got some lights for evening time, and then I'll show you a quick bit of footage inside, but then I'll do another video of the actual inside, really. And again, I haven't tidied up yet, so it's a proper mess. I started recording bass with Paz the other day, so we've hung up some curtains in here. There's the bass amp that we've been miking up. This fabulous IKEA bag has got loads of cables that I often take to the covers gigs that we do. And this is the internal sort of area of the studio, which I'll show you next time. But welcome to Higher Voltage Studios. All right, catch you next for the next installment of this interior. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.